Hey y'all. The purpose behind making this video is due to a conversation I had with someone young. So the gist of it is the conversation was about he wants to get an AR, okay, and he's young and he doesn't have a lot of money. He wants to put into things, etc., etc. Y'all know the deal. So this video is not made for experienced guys, okay. It's not made for the guys who have these, so you guys can see you till the next time, right? But for you new guys that want to do this, I'm gonna have to tell you something here now, because I really don't get it about the new guys, but I'm gonna have to tell you something. You gotta pay to play, straight up, okay? That's the way life is. You gotta pay to play. Some of the new guys that I'm up into, they're hot and heavy to get an AR or some type of rifle like that, and then when they see the prices, they get sticker shock. And I understand, man. I understand. I was a young guy once myself, so I understand that. But so I'm making this video to try to help you out a little bit. So an AR, you don't have to buy one. You don't have to buy one that is out the box ready to go, unless you want to have something that all young people should have. It's called patience. Okay? You got to pay to play. So have some patience. Get a second job and get the money up to go either to the dealer and buy one straight out, or go what I think is a better route. Buy a buffer spring. Put it away. Buy an A2 pistol grip. No, they're not the best, but I have found these things for just about $5. Put it away. There ain't no school like old school. They do its job. And you can put rails on these. They're not that expensive compared to free float rails, etc. Okay? No, it ain't the latest and greatest, but it doesn't have to be. Put it away. Magpul, the MOE stuff, get it while you can get it, because they said they're discontinuing it. So it might behoove you to try to pick up one of these. I'm pretty sure that since they're discontinuing it, some people are going to try to get rid of it. Okay? Put it away. Charging handle. Put it away. Get a parts kit, $50. Put it away. Okay? Now, granted, what I'm about to show you is not GP, right? That's a Night Force 2.5 to 10. Plax and barrel. Okay? BCM. That's a BCM. This company right here is, for the upper receiver is, man, forgot. I can't remember it. But anyways, the bolt carrier in this one is BCM. But it doesn't break the bank. in regards to, let's forget the optic, okay? You can find on PSA barrels, blimmed barrels, blimmed lowers, blimmed uppers, and they work with you just fine. Just have a little patience. So, I know, like today, some of you guys, some of you older guys might be looking at this video going, you know, thinking, what the crap am I talking about? Because you've seen ARs for a good price. Yes, you have. So have I. But that's not what this is about. The availability, the quantity, and the quality. What's that going to be in a few more years? You know what I'm saying? Like, case in point, we had the ATF rake their butts across the coal today by the house, I think it was the house. And they're, what I feel like is illegal. They're basing their actions that they have the legal justification to do what they're doing since Biden's been president over a law 90 years ago. Okay, so they really did not have a leg to stand on. They really didn't. And of course, it was talking mouthpieces about, you know, tragedy. That's the only thing they ever want to talk about is tragedy. I know tragedy. I've seen tragedy. I have experienced tragedy. I pray to God I don't experience tragedy the way some families have. But if I do, it is not your fault, you the gun owners, that my son lost his life to gun violence. It is not your fault, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn in your guns. It is not no one's fault but the person and or persons that took my son's life. We are a republic. We're not a socialist democracy. Anyways, back on this. So there's ways of getting around stuff. You just got to be patient. You can buy a PSA lower receiver. Sometimes you can find you a good, and I'm not saying PSA receivers are bad, but sometimes you can buy a better quality receiver. Me personally, my advice to new shooters that are wanting to get into the AR business, the AR world, suck it up, buttercup, man. You got to pay to play. All right? Just don't mortgage yourself. Don't mortgage your house to pay. But have some common sense. It's like if said item is $500, go get you a blasted job working part-time. You'll get that money up and snap. Okay? Guarantee it. You will. The two things that you never skimp on an AR has nothing to do with the handguard. The two things that you never skimp on is a barrel with the gas block and the gas tube. I would definitely be looking at what is the best I can get. For me, I think Faxon makes some of the best barrels. And I would look into a fine trigger. Now you can buy Geisley, you can buy ALG, all that stuff. I don't. I use it's been around for a dog's age. It's been around for quite a while now. This company, it's called CMC. They make a assembled, completely housed, match grade trigger and hammer system. It just simply places it into your receiver. You then tap your pins in, you're good to go. You can pick those up for about 150 bucks. I mean, if I'd rather have, put it like this, I'd rather have $500 in the barrel and the trigger and the hammer assembly than anything else. Okay, I know some people are going to go, well, you know, you can get an AR for about 500 bucks. Yeah, you can. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that if you're going to spend money, don't spend it on the look, spend it on the barrel. Spend it on the hammer and the trigger. You know what I'm saying? The hammer and trigger assembly. But you don't have to break the bank to get a good AR. Just, you know, once again, you're not going to be running around with a LWRC or a LaRue, okay, or a knight's armament. You're not going to do that. And honestly, you don't really need to, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Your mileage vary. You know, I'm not spending that kind of cash on that. I've dealt with ARs for a long time, and I've seen two ARs blow up. I've seen one AK blow up, and all three of those that happened to them because improper ammunition had nothing to do with the gun. I've seen the piston rings on the AR bolt carrier, or on the AR bolt, fail. That ain't nothing but replacing the pistons, the piston rings, that's why there's 3 rings. It's redundancy. But as far as like a catastrophic failure, just the gun falling apart, I've never seen that. I have seen free flow handguards come loose and start walking forward. You know, I've seen that, which goes back to, you know, perhaps, maybe, that you want that most accuracy that you can get out of your rifle. I understand that. Yes, I would definitely do this. But for a GP rifle, I personally would rather have the old stuff, because I ain't got to worry about that walking off. And I can replace that a whole lot cheaper than buying a brand new, you know, rail here. You know what I'm saying? So that's something else to think about. I think the rails have come a long way, but they haven't come long enough to where I mean, even M-LOK. You know, M-LOK, that was the new kid on the block, and now there's reports about the M-LOK not being any good compared to the Key Mod. Key Mod's worse, and whatever. That's for people that's doing this stuff. Let's face it, that's doing this stuff. Whereas people here at home, these guns don't ever get treated that way. They stay in a gun safe. They come out of a gun safe to go to a range. They go to a shooting match. Okay, I've seen airsofter guns that look like they're ever-loving Immortal beating the hell out of, because they are. They're actually used in aggressive environments, whereas you're not doing it with this unless you are in a class. You get what I'm trying to say? So you new guys out there, you young guys that want to get an AR, buy just a complete parts kit. You can get a CMMG parts kit for $60-ish. Okay, that gives you everything you need except the buffer spring, and the buffer tube. All right, set that off to the side, and then go get the buffer spring, and the buffer tube. Okay, and then look around at these places where you got guys that are gun poor and they want a new project. Because I are one of them too. I do that all the time. So they start selling off parts. They sell them. Sometimes these guys do sell you reasonable parts. Not all the time, but sometimes they do. So look for like just a plain old Magpul, or if you want to go old school, get an old M4 buttstock. You know, get something like that. It'll do you fine. It won't have no problem with it. So trying to help out you young guys that might catch this video. You don't have to break the bank. You just have to be reasonable, and you have to be you know, you got to come down to earth. You can't be in the Call of Duty world. You got to come down to earth. You got to be reasonable and patient, and you got to stop with this. Man, that's you're selling that for how much? Oh, you got to pay to play, man. Okay, you got to pay to play. If you can't afford, for example, if you can't afford a couple $100, don't worry about it. The world is not going to end. Okay, save your money. Don't buy that latest video game. Okay, save your money. Get a part-time job, and don't worry about buying the rifle. Get parts together. And if you don't know how to put one together, well, guess what? Now's a learning experience. Go to a gunsmith and ask the gunsmith, can you watch him build it? And watch the gunsmith say yes or no. The gunsmith might say, well, come on, son, let me get you in here and let you build your own. So then you're learning like most people do. Most people learn physically. You know, I see it, I feel it, I touch it, I put it together. And then once you do that, you're not going to be ready to build another one. But you built one. So maybe, just maybe, you might build a second or a third. It might turn into a job for you. Who knows? Or if not, at least you saw it built. So, don't get caught up in the weeds. Patience. Be reasonable. And stop whining about you having to spend money on it. If you're whining about having to spend money on it, then don't do it at all. Okay? If you're not willing to sweat to get the money to do it, don't do it at all. Alright guys, be back directly.